Yeah. Well, let's jump into floor mats. These roll-out garage floor mats, you described them to me as kind of like more dense versions of maybe like a gym mat or something like that. How would you describe the issue, the experience that you've had with these garage floor mats?
We show up to a person's house. You get there and there's these ugly mats. They're very beat up looking. They're usually curled at the edges a little bit, so they've pulled away. And you walk in and right away you do notice a certain odor to the garage. And you know what that means from our standpoint, because one of the things we're going to try and do is pull the mat up a little bit and see under it. And what you find is you start peeling it up, and it might be really dry right there at the very edge near the garage door. And you get it up a few inches, and you start seeing it's getting darker. And then all of a sudden it's wet. And that means it's going to be slimy under there, and it can be really smelly.
So, there's what is happening underneath, which can just be summed up as usually gross.
Yeah.
But so homeowners will put these down in their garages to try to hide and avoid dealing with the concrete's beat up, it's cracked, it's pitted. The garage mats, they don't age any more gracefully though. Like uh why do these mats end up looking possibly even worse than the concrete they were trying to hide in the first place?
Well, there's a couple things that really make the mats degrade in their aesthetics very quickly. One is just the wear and tear. You're driving on it. You're traversing it, so you're going to get those tire lines. Some of them have gotten beat up by the tires and the abrasion of the tires. But on top of that, sometimes they can't deal with the chemicals they get exposed to. So if you have an oil drip or you have a leaking mower or something like that, they might not be able to tolerate that solvent load. So that starts to degrade or even disintegrate the surface of it. But what you asked me about earlier with they're trying to hide something, well, that can telegraph through. So if you had a really rough area where it was very pitted and you cover it with the mat, over time, the mat can settle down. It has some stretchability, so it can get down in there. So now all of a sudden your mat's going along and then all of a sudden it has these ripples down through it. And sometimes they can't deal with the taper to the drain. So they're literally floating, and then as they get driven over and something stretches them there, they can crack, they can stretch. They just get disfigured in a sense. But on
Yeah.
top of that, visually, oftentimes you see them curling too. So out at the edges or at the seams, you may have laid these really heavy mats in, but they're curling up a little bit at their edges. And so you can even get some weird splits as well.